Hi, so today we are going to be making a bechamel sauce. So this is known as one of the 5 sauces, mother sauces of classical French cookery. And the base ingredients for this is butter, flour and milk. So from this it's equal amounts. I've done 50 grams butter, 50 grams flour with 500 grams of milk. And those base ingredients of what you need. So how we're going to start this off, you want to bring your milk up to a boil, and the milk is basically going to be the portal of any infusions or aromats and spices that you want to be putting in there. So for me, I'm going to put shallots, which I've peeled and just sliced very largely, as it's just for the infusion, and you're going to strain it off at the end. It doesn't need to be cut up really fine, a brunoise or anything. Huge chunks is fine. On top of that, I've got some garlic, thyme, and literally 1 bay leaf. Bay leaves are incredibly strong, and with a single one, you can season up to 10 litres of stock. Fun fact. So that's all going in there, as well as some peppercorns, which I just lightly toasted off earlier. And all you're doing with this is you're going to bring it up to the boil, and then turn it down, allow it to simmer for 5-10 minutes or so, just so you're going to get all those flavours going through the milk. The bechamel, so this white sauce, it's very, very versatile. If you kept it completely simple, with literally just milk, flour and butter, you can add any flavourings you want into it. After, I'm going to show you how to make a Mornay sauce as well. And then with this sauce, you can use it to make like lasagnas, or the bechamel for that. You can use it for pasta bakes, omelettes. It's a just incredibly versatile sauce and very easy to make at home. And so with this milk, I've allowed it to just simmer along and taken all of those beautiful flavours into the milk for about 10-15 minutes or so. And as you can see, it's got the slight skin on the top. That is absolutely fine, not a problem. The main priority of this is just the milk is taking on all of those flavours. So if you want, and give it a taste. It's just gorgeous, aromatic. The shallots, a touch of garlic is lovely. I normally don't season the milk at this stage. I will season the end product. So I'm going to do is just pass this off through a fine chinois. So in this is very fine holes, and what that means is nothing's going to get through except the milk. So even with the thyme, the little leaves might fall off. That's not going to be a problem. Just want to drain that completely. And now we're going to move on to making the actual base. Okay, so I'm going to start off with my 50 grams of butter. And all you want to do is just to melt this down. You don't want to get any colour at all. Just let it do its thing. You don't want too much of a high heat, otherwise it's going to cook a lot quicker than you want it to. And then as soon as you've got all of your butter melted, I'm just going to add in the 50 grams of plain flour in one go. Now this process is called making a roux, which is basically when you're adding the flour to some melted butter, and then on this stage is very important that you just keep mixing it. You're going to keep whisking it, because with this you need to cook the flour out. If I'm going to start adding my milk in straight away, you're still going to get this really intense flour flavour, which is just absolutely not what you're going to want. Now if you smell it, you're going to smell that flour coming out. That's what you want. This has been 30 seconds or so. You see it's bubbling out, it's cooking away nicely, and then you can taste it, and as long as you can't taste any flour is when you're ready to go on to the next stage, which is adding your milk in very slowly, a little bit first, And you're going to notice it's going to get even thicker in this. And you want to do this on the lowest heat possible, okay? And it's important that you just keep whisking and you're adding this in really slowly. And what you're going to see shortly is that it's going to start turning into a sauce. But it's going to get a lot thicker before it gets sauce consistency. And the reason we're adding it in little stages, slowly, is so you're going to get a much more beautifully silky smooth consistency. Because basically if I'm adding this all in one go, you're kind of just not going to be tempering it properly. Okay? So it's going to keep going. Very, very low heat. And you're going to see eventually the next part is going to start looking like a sauce. Okay. And also when I'm doing this, I'm always using a slightly curved pan if you have access to one at home, because when you're using like that it tends to get caught very easily. With this the whisk just brushes the sides beautifully, so it's not going to get caught at all. And you see it's thinning out very nicely. And then we're going to add nearly all of the milk. At this point you get to kind of choose the consistency of your sauce. When I show you later how to do the Mornay, if you're adding cheese or something after to your base, then you're going to find that as the cheese is melting, it's going to thicken it up incredibly, okay? So if you're adding cheese, you're going to want a much, much looser base to your sauce. And you see this is lovely and smooth. I've still got a touch more milk. And there you have bechamel with all of the milk. And this is the point where I'm going to season it. So that's just a touch. And that's bechamel. What I'm going to show you, I'm going to put half out. See that lovely consistency. And then from the other half, I'm just going to show you how you'd be able to turn that into a Mornay. Right. So as I said earlier with the cheese, thickening up the sauces, I've got a little bit of extra milk. Okay. And if you want to change the consistency of this, milk is the perfect way to do that. All right. So for this, adding Parmesan, you can do any cheese of your liking. Even if you put some blue cheese through this, would be gorgeous. Just a touch. You see, as soon as that starts cooking out and melting down, it's going to turn into a much, much thicker sauce. And as well, the classical Mornay with that is with just a touch of nutmeg. Okay, I'm grating this freshly, although you could use ground. It's just freshly grated nutmeg is gorgeous. It's much stronger, more beautiful flavour. I'm going to add a tiny bit more Parmesan. Like so. And you see the consistency for that is more thicker, beautifully cheesy, delicious sauce. Just going to pour that out. And with this you'll see you've got the nutmeg beautiful speckles in there. That's exactly what you want. Gorgeous. So for that, you have your two sauces, the Béchamel and the Mornay.